And now, introducing tonight's main attraction. It's the Never Bins podcast.
We're back. Sorry to the listeners for letting you down on your typical Wednesday.
I bet it was tough for people driving into work.
For the one listener that reached out to me and
said, was it one?
I
Griffin?
Had my buddy. Yeah, my
brother
buddy hit me up and said, "Is there an episode?" This was yesterday. Is there an episode coming out this week? ? He really was looking forward to it on his commute.
Did you tell him you were fake busy?
I apologized for letting him down. Now he said he's going to unsubscribe, and he's out.
Maybe I'll teach us a lesson.
Yeah. Shout out to Wiley.
Welcome back, everyone, to another new episode of the Never Bins.
We're going to switch it up, clearly, because we missed our typical review episode. We're going to do a preview of the upcoming weekend. So we're going to talk
a state of both the league, NFL-wise, and college football. And I think we need to get into a little bit. We need to get into
the WNBA.
Creek. No, well, sure. General Creek member guest this weekend preview.
That's what I was going to talk about first.
Big Calcutta last night.
Wait. We need more context for the listeners. What's going on?
General Creek, my golf course.
Okay.
My golf course. Big member guest this weekend. First tournament, reopening of the clubhouse.
Wow.
Big time.
Big grand opening of the new renovation.
Yep. So this is going to be fun.
Who are you playing with? Who's your guest? Because clearly I wasn't invited.
Who am I playing with? Your boy, Hatch.
Harry Styles.
Yep.
Not that Harry Styles. A cooler
He's going to carry me this weekend. I think we got a good chance.
Me and him played. He was in Charlotte. This is Glanch's buddy in Texas. High school buddy growing up.
Yep.
Harry Hatch, shout out. He was in Charlotte, what was that, a couple weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
We got our asses kicked in a 2v2 match against Wiley, the guy we were just talking about. Our one listener. So
disappointing.
Didn't you say
we'll see.
Didn't you say Torrey Hunter's a member at your club?
Torrey Hunter's a member at our club. So
are you actually playing with him, or was he joking about that?
No, we are. Yeah.
That's sweet. Have you met him?
Yeah, it'll be really fun. Yeah, I've seen him around a few times. He's a great guy. He's been awesome to get to know. Actually, his partner is Nick Van Exel, so old point guard for the Mavs.
Yeah. Is that just from living there? Like, how do they know each other?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'll find out. Let you know.
Is Torrey Hunter from Texas, or is he just?
You keep asking me questions I don't know the answer to.
Well, I'm trying to remember. He didn't play for the Rangers, did he?
I don't think so.
I know he was obviously the Twins. The Twins forever.
How clueless are we?
I mean, we're talking about your random country club's member guest, which, how was I not invited to this?
He did not play for the Rangers. Okay.
Kind of messed up.
We can talk about this later. We're not going to bore our. What happened is you and Olivia wanted to come to Texas, but you guys didn't want to come.
You told us to get F'd.
Nope.
You don't want us in Texas.
You guys, no. You guys told us you didn't want to come. This happened in Kiowa earlier this year. You told us you didn't want to come when you were just going to be playing golf the whole time. That's 100% what happened.
Kylie and Olivia said that.
So
I would love to play golf.
Yeah, but
actually, I would like to hang out with Grayson and meet Graham, the little Glanchies. All right.
What are we talking about first?
Enough about your personal life. No one really cares about that.
What are we talking about first?
You wanted to talk about WNBA.
I'm going to skip right to. I just wanted to throw something out there real fast. Is Phil Mickelson having like a 3-quarter life crisis or something? Like the guy just talks and talks and talks and he can't stop. And now he's saying, has there been something new since what I said? He just said, he's like, we have people lined up trying to get into the live. I'm like, you said that last year and like 2 guys left. So what is it? I mean, maybe he'll be right. I don't know, but I just feel like he just can't stop.
He's been pretty right talking
Has
about future move. Like, I mean, Liv and PGA merged. He basically was saying, like, we have leverage here.
They have an agreement to merge. They have like a month and a half to actually figure it out, and or 2 months, and they have nothing.
Well, the PGA wants it to happen.
Yeah, because the PGA was going to be run out of money. That's like as simple and plain.
That's what Phil said from the start.
No, Phil said the PGA had an endless cache of money and wouldn't give it to him, and he's greedy and $1 billion in debt. I think he was doing pretty well.
I'm just interested.
And now nobody likes him.
I love Tiger, so I auto hate Phil. But in this, now you're liking chaos and just liking to take the other side. I kind of am intrigued by his chess comment, where he's saying they're 27 steps ahead or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, then they're all great actors because they all seem super disappointed about the world golf ranking thing. But he was like, "Oh, no big deal." Everyone else was disappointed. Is Phil in on it more than the rest of Liv? Everyone else was very disappointed. Phil's
he's just old and doesn't really care about majors, right? I'm assuming
that's like you put your tinfoil hat on like KFC and talk conspiracies there.
I guess we'll see.
That's all I wanted to say.
We shall see. Live championship this weekend down in Miami.
What's an Al say?
Who?
Yeah. Cares.
Who cares? I care.
Yeah.
Harold
I bet you'll watch 5 minutes.
I will. The CW, baby.
Maybe 5 minutes. All right. Talk to me about big college football games this weekend.
All right. We're off WNBA and golf. You need to break the WNBA news. You said it before we recorded, so let everyone know.
I did not. Oh, the Aces won. I know the Aces won. I don't know.
Clearly follow the WNBA if you knew that.
I don't. Sure. Okay.
How did you know that?
Big fan. It's on the front page of ESPN for some reason, but go on.
Congrats to the Aces. No idea if that's like back to back. I don't know anything about the WNBA. We used to have a WNBA team, the Sting. I used to go to games as a kid.
The Charlotte Sting will play off the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. I guess back then they were owned by the NBA. I don't really know how that all works.
Pretty sure they're still subsidized by the NBA.
Definitely subsidized by them. All right. Enough about that. College football.
Biggest game of the weekend?
Biggest game, Penn State at Ohio State.
Biggest game maybe of the season so far. I know Oregon, Washington lived up to billing. So
yeah. What are your thoughts? Do you like a noon kickoff for a primetime game like this?
I like that they change it up. I mean, on Saturday afternoon, there's a few more ranked matchups this weekend, but on Saturday afternoon, I'll be pissed that it's over. But I don't mind waking up to a big game. Like I loved watching OU Texas at 11 o'clock the other day. I know some of my buddies who went to Texas wanted to go booze, hang out.
Everyone uses Eastern Standard Time. So
nobody uses
the game was at 12.
No, the game was actually at 11. It kicked off at 11 in Dallas. So
12.
The game was played in Dallas and kicked off in Dallas at 11 o'clock a.m.
But everyone watched it at 12.
No, they didn't.
Most people.
No, they didn't.
The majority of people.
Go on. I don't mind it. I really don't. I like I like waking up on Saturday, doing my morning Saturday chores. And then, you got a college football game to watch right after game day, a good one.
Yeah. I'm a big night game from a viewership standpoint. I don't know why.
I do like that college football has seemingly stopped. Now they've had a couple West Coast games that were, a lot too late, but they've started putting like the big games kicking off before 8:30 Eastern, which is awesome because that's like way too late.
Yeah.
You start those games an hour and a half before that and everyone can actually stay up and watch them.
Yeah. All right. Penn State, Ohio State specifically. Have you watched To be honest,
a little Ohio State. Ohio State seems to just. I haven't watched much Penn State at all.
Have they played
pretty dominant?
Let me look it up. Have they had any big games? I know Ohio State had the awesome game against Notre Dame.
Yeah, not really. No. But 2 undefeated teams. Ohio State favored by 4.5 right now. If you look at most advanced rankings, they have Michigan and Ohio State as the best teams, the top 2 teams there, and then Penn State's a little bit further down at number 8. Penn State has not.
They've played
dominated anyone really.
Well, they've dominated all their games, but they haven't played anyone.
No. I'm sorry. Ohio State. Yes, Penn State has dominated everyone, but they have not played anyone.
They beat West Virginia by 23, Delaware by 56, Illinois by 17 on the road, shut out Iowa at home 31-0, 41-13 at Northwestern, 63-0 last week against UMass. So it's like
they covered.
Did they? Doesn't even show the spread on there.
42.5.
All right, so this is a huge game. Ohio State opened as a 10-point favorite. I feel like that's
seriously. Well, it's 4.5.
It's down to 4.5. Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, most advanced rankings. I don't know. It's hard to say because, like you said, Penn State hasn't played anyone. But I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Ohio State's already beaten a good Notre Dame team, but they haven't really looked like they wanted to do much on offense in any game so far this year. So, I don't know. Like I said, I don't watch a ton of Big Ten football, so it will be fun to watch. Put a good Big Ten game on Saturday morning.
Do you talk to me about McCord?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I've watched him a little bit. I mean, he looked good at the end of the Notre Dame game when he had to be, but before that, it's like they did almost nothing on offense, and I think he's maybe had a little bit of a hard time. I mean, Ohio State always has good receivers. He's maybe had a little bit of a hard time, playing to the level that's obviously expected from Ohio State every year. And maybe he'll come along as the season goes on, but so far like I said, their offense has been just kind of, maybe they're sleepwalking, like Georgia kind of does. I mean, Ohio State has a major tendency to do that, but you would have thought Notre Dame would have been a nice time to wake up, and they just kind of, I mean, until the very end of the game, they didn't do much at all.
I think Notre Dame's defense is really good though, and they're at home. Not that,
yeah.
And then Marvin Harrison got hurt. Like that game was kind of weird. I love Ohio State only because I love Brian Hartline, the receivers coach.
Yeah,
he has a amazing system. He just cranks out. I think he's a great coach. He reminds me of Pearl, the way he played and the way he coaches. I think clearly he's a good recruiter. He's got not only Marvin Harrison Jr., but I like the other kid maybe more, mainly because he's more of the slot guy, Egbuka.
Yes,
he's really good. Good route runner.
You're right. They've always done a really good job with receivers. They crank them out like every single year. It seems like.
Yeah, they had Olave,
Garrett Wilson,
Smith,
Lake Travis.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've had a first-round receiver
built different.
Years. Built different.
Yeah.
Do you think he's the best one out of Ohio State over those other guys?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I'm biased, but yeah.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, Marvin Harrison Jr. is supposed to be the best prospect.
Speaking of teams that have not played anyone, but yet have just been dominant, Michigan, kind of everyone's most dominant, most complete team so far.
Who do they play?
When do they play somebody?
Well, here's the thing. Penn State, this is what I was going to talk to you about with the Big Ten and college football. Penn State's playing Ohio State. They all play each other.
Yes.
Right? What happens when they all beat each other and they all have one loss and one win?
Well, then there's a chance that the team that gets left out of let's look at the Big Ten standings real fast. So you got Michigan and Ohio State. Oh, they're all three on the same side.
Correct. So then what? What's the tiebreak there? If they all go whatever in one.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a chance. there's a chance that, I mean, obviously whoever gets to go to the Big Ten championship will.
What if they lose?
Have to beat. I don't think they're going to lose to Iowa, but well, if they lose to Iowa, then there's a chance they get left at home, or Wisconsin.
But then wins the Big Ten. You let whoever was second out of the 3 into the playoff. You let 2
probably
and 3 in. Like what?
Yeah, probably. That's what they do with the SEC every year. I mean, if Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State are all 11-1.
This is my problem with the committee and everything, and I argued with my buddy and my brother the other night about it because my buddy's he went to UNC. They're undefeated. He's like, we're not even really even spoken about, right? Until we got to go undefeated and win the ACC, right?
Yeah.
And then I was giving the scenario about this, right, with the Big Ten. I want the committee to just say, I don't care about anything. We're just going to pick the 4 teams we think are the best. Like, because but there is no black and white. It's impossible.
Okay, so all right, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. The 4 best teams, but what is that? Like last year, everyone was like, Alabama should have got in over TCU because they would be favored in a game against TCU, which is probably fair. But like Alabama didn't prove that on the field almost at all last year. Like they didn't.
That's part of it. But then the other part of it is they just have a better team. Maybe it's subjective, right? It's just like, and Alabama's a good example this year. I would say even if they ran the table, won the SEC, I might not leave them out, but like, I'd be like, well, their quarterback, they don't have a great quarterback. I don't think they're a great football team. I would rather have Ohio State in because I think they would win in a head-to-head match. That's just my opinion. Surely
it wouldn't get to this, but the 8th tiebreaker is just a random draw between the 3 of them getting to go to the Big Ten championship. If they're all 11-1, I think so. It probably won't get to this because they don't all play the same teams from the West. Every year they play different teams from the West. Yep. So it probably won't get to this because they'll do like winning percentage of like cross division opponents.
Common opponents.
First that, but if they all played the same teams, then they'll do winning percentage against cross division opponents. So like if one team played Iowa and Wisconsin and the other team didn't have to,
strength of schedule basically.
Whoever played Iowa and Wisconsin, if they're at the top of the division, gets to go.
Which makes sense.
I agree though. I mean, that's why I think I will say everyone seems to think like, oh, the more the better. I think in college football, that's not necessarily true. I do think 12 is going to be fun. I think it'll be fine. I think, this year is potentially, I mean, it'll probably sort itself out. This year is potentially going to be a good year for having more than 4 or, would be. But like most years, I haven't really felt like, I think 8 is kind of like the perfect number. I think 12 will be fun, but I think 8 is kind of the perfect number. I don't think there's been many years in college football where you look at like the 8th and 9th teams and you're like, man, they really deserve to go.
Yeah.
Like in college basketball, basketball, if you're the 69th team, you didn't do enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same in football. Like the 9th team typically is like, you lost twice or, you just didn't do enough during the year.
This year could prove what you're saying wrong, but in the past, you're right.
Yeah.
But this year, there's almost like 9-10 teams that are all. My point was going to be, what happens when Georgia goes undefeated, loses in the SEC championship?
They'll go still.
Okay, but they have 1 loss. Alabama runs the table, wins the SEC championship, 1 loss.
They can't. Did they? Yeah, they would play each other one day.
The heck are these balloons? What was that?
Is it your birthday?
What was that?
I have no idea.
That was creepy.
Are you okay? Are you?
Yeah. All right.
No, I know. I mean, it's
UNC, Florida State. Let's say the ACC winner is 1 loss and the other one has 1 loss. And then Big Ten, they all have 1 loss. And then Washington loses.
Or do would UNC Florida State play in the ACC championship?
No, I think they're the same.
Do they play each other? So they must play each other then, if they're the same division. This is all.
Yeah.
I feel like we should know more about what we're talking about.
Divisions confuse me, though, to be honest.
I agree. But yeah, okay. Overall, so say all those teams have one loss. Yes, it's possible.
All these teams. This is my scenario of the committee. It's like, all right,
Washington and Oregon can both have one loss. Texas and Oklahoma can both have one loss.
Yeah, I forgot about the Big 12 too. All right, so let's say that happens. They're all kind of one loss. Then you just basically have to choose 4 teams with no
They have said in the past that conference championship does matter. So maybe that's where they just.
But it's like Bama. They squeeze out a win against Georgia. I'm not letting either of them in. Probably.
You what? No, you let both of them in.
No. Like Georgia doesn't done anything all year, and then they like lose to Alabama, and Alabama's been just blah.
What has Georgia not done? They haven't lost in like 4 years.
Then they lose to like a blah Alabama team. My point is,
yeah, I mean,
and then you have these competitive games in the Big Ten. My point is, I'll be like, I don't think Georgia and Bama are that good this year.
Maybe they'll get the 12-team deal finalized before the season ends.
Yeah, they should do that because this would be the perfect year for it.
There you go.
Because we just listed,
you do have, I would say.
We just listed 7. We just listed 11 teams. And then you could throw like USC in there. That would be a sick playoff.
I think
or Notre Dame.
Michigan, Ohio State, Georgia, Washington, Texas, Oregon, Oklahoma. This is not in order. Penn State, Bama potentially, Florida State,
UNC,
USC, North Carolina. That's 12.
Duke's been good too, which is random. They could be undefeated if they had beat Notre Dame at home.
Yeah.
But I mean, my point is
what if Clemson goes 11-2?
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of parity.
Yeah, it is. Well, maybe that's, maybe NIL will do some good after all. I know everyone's kind of hated what it's done for college sports, but there are more good teams within the transfer portal. Are you cutting me off?
No.
Nope, cut me off. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was going to get your prediction for the Ohio State Penn State game.
Tell me where it is.
At Ohio State.
Ohio State wins and covers 27-21.
Okay. Pretty spot on to the Vegas prediction because it's 45.5. Whoa, it opened at 56.5.
Weather, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Is someone out? Like, did someone get ruled out for Ohio State?
I thought I read something that Igbuka might be out, but
maybe that's why, because the spread going from 10.5 to 4.5 is not common, right?
It could just be. I mean, that's a big spread.
Maybe the weather is affecting everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my prediction. 27-21. What about you?
I have a feeling Ohio State boat races them.
They're going to wake up?
I'm going to go 38-17.
They're going to wake up, huh?
Yeah. Shout out to
Charles Minor from The Office. Look who just woke up. I've been up for a while. Jim Halpert, volleyball game. You don't remember? Pathetic.
Nope. Only watched Office through once, I think. You've done it like 20 times.
Are we moving on to the NFL now? Is there anything else worth talking about?
I was going to comment. Oh, you got Michigan State. 25-point favorites. Oh, another big game. Because I mentioned it earlier, Duke at Florida State.
Yeah,
Florida State's a 2-touchdown favorite, though. Do you think they're that good?
They could. I mean, I don't know. They looked great in the first game against LSU, and then they've since then they've had a close game with Boston College. They've beaten everyone they've played, but I think they're just going to out athlete Duke.
Yeah,
I mean, I think they're too athletic to, But Duke has been impressive. I mean, I like when Duke is good. I like when teams like that are good.
Yeah, Duke UNC will be a good game.
Yes, probably should be. Although I don't know that Duke has anyone that can cover Tez Walker. But
dude, how about him getting off the suspended list? I don't know what you want to call it.
I don't know what that was. Like, did he take improper benefits? Are there such thing anymore?
No, it was like a made up. They just made up a rule like, oh, you have to sit, and he was like, why? Because there are no rules anymore.
Still wants to say that they're doing something.
Correct. And then they ended up losing that battle. He had 3 touchdowns, I think, last week.
Yeah, he dominated Miami.
Drake May, Charlotte, shout out. NFL?
Yeah, let's go.
Similar to college football.
Not a great slate this weekend, huh?
There's a couple.
You got two really good games.
Yeah, you want to touch on those first?
I think Baltimore, Detroit could be a very good game. I think it could be a really good game. Baltimore's offense has just been so up and down. It seems like they've started out each game hot. I mean, not necessarily like putting up a ton of points, but they've gone right down the field early in games. They've had some issues with drops, but they've gone right down the field early in games, and then they like put it in cruise control and let teams back in. Like they almost let Tennessee back in the game last week. They never should have lost to the Steelers, end up losing that game. Kind of did the same thing with the Colts. So I'm interested to see, I've mentioned this before, but mainly for my fantasy team's health, when Lamar and Mark Andrews want to turn it on and turn that dynamic duo or turn back into that dynamic duo offensively.
What's your fantasy team name?
I can't say.
Why?
Inappropriate.
We can edit it out.
I'll tell you later.
Do what Smitty did on NFL Network and use code words for the curse words.
It's just someone's name. Someone's name. A pretend person. Well, there's probably someone named it, but Mike Hunt. Oh my God!
I see.
It's so inappropriate.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Why would you name your team name that?
It's funny.
Kind of is. All right. Yeah, Baltimore hasn't really played.
My mom listens to this, dude. We're gonna have to cut that out. That's inappropriate.
Maybe you need to re-examine what you name your fantasy team.
I thought it was funny.
Then we should keep it if you think it's funny.
One time in middle school, we had some history project where we had to pretend to be like some sort of, I don't know, we had to like write letters as if we were on the Lewis and Clark expedition across the country. And
I don't know where this is going.
Everyone used names like that. Pat McGroin, those types of things. And one of my friends used Mike as his name and did not get caught because I think it went right over the teacher's head that a 7th grader would know that.
I can't think of him.
He was the only one that did that and didn't get in trouble.
What a beast. And then you stole it. You stole it from him.
I did. We're not really buddies anymore, but anyway.
Yeah, Baltimore, back to them. They haven't really played anyone, but they're 4-2, and I think this will be a big game for them.
Top of their division. Yeah.
They're Baltimore's 3-point favorites. I know they're at home, so I guess
that makes sense to me.
Even game.
I mean,
Detroit,
not to be, but who is Detroit? They beat Tampa Bay. That was a good win. But before that, they lost to Seattle.
They beat Carolina.
Okay, so who have they beaten?
They beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But the Chiefs, like Super Bowl hangover. I don't know, man. The Chiefs.
Yeah, then they beat the Chiefs. First home game, lost to Seattle. Then they hosted the Falcons and won easily. Went to Lambeau, won. Hosted the Panthers, one of the worst teams in NFL history, won. And then went to Tampa and won.
No, that's not any disrespect to the Lions. I think they're very good. It makes sense.
This is definitely their biggest test, I think, besides Arrowhead.
It makes sense to me that Baltimore's favored here by about a field goal.
All right, so what's your prediction?
I think you get a 24-20 Baltimore win, and Lamar throws 2 touchdowns to Mark Andrews. I have not looked at the totals. I was
about to say, for both of these, you're just taking the over-under and the spread and just saying the score.
Well, I did look at, the spread, yeah. Well, that seems smart to me. And
the total's 43.
Okay, well, look at me. I did not look at the total, to be fair.
So it would have been 23-20 would have been the exact chalk line. You went 24-20. All All right, I'm going to go Detroit 27, Baltimore 12.
Just to disagree with me? No. 12? They're going to kick 4 field goals?
Tucker, they're not going to score a touchdown. Mike Hunt's fantasy team is going to struggle.
I told you.
That's my prediction.
We're going to have to cut that out.
Why? That's your team name.
I don't. Dolphins, Eagles, Sunday Night Football.
That's the best game of the week, right?
Perfect. They saved it for Sunday night. Yeah, I think it will be.
They got it.
The Dolphins offense has obviously been awesome. We've talked about McDaniel ad nauseum. They're
Philly on a bounce back. Bad loss last week.
No, not a bad loss. The Jets have arrived.
I mean, I like the Jets. I like the Jets. Great defense, but that's a bad loss.
I agree.
Didn't score a point in the second half.
I agree. I read some deal that now this is ridiculous to blame it on this, but they march right down the field, score a touchdown. Lane Johnson gets hurt late in that drive. They finish it and score a touchdown and then score 7 points the rest of the game?
They only scored 14.
Yeah. So they scored 7 points after Lane Johnson went out and basically didn't do anything on offense. But it's, it seemed like Jalen and, he made some uncharacteristic plays. I was watching an Orlovsky breakdown. He kind of looked like he was ready to, he didn't stay in he didn't appear to be comfortable as a passer back there. He looked like he got to the top of his drop and then looked like he went into, his shoulders went down. He looked like he was ready to go run almost immediately. And I mean, obviously, a couple of those interceptions, I say a couple of them, one got tipped, one was bad. One he got hit, one got tipped and was not his fault. But the last one, 3rd and 9, you're about to make a young quarterback have to go a long way. There's no reason to make that throw. And obviously
the one stat, yeah. I was watching Red Zone, but the first touchdown drive where they 3rd and goal
plays 93 yards.
Yeah. 3rd and goal QB draw from the 10 to the 2, and then they just did it again. Said they stopped them, reviewed it, and Jalen Hurts scored. So it was the talking point on the Eagles this year is their red zone offense sucks. They cannot score touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're obviously not even comfortable calling normal plays. They're just calling QB draw on 3rd and 4th down.
Yeah.
They have no confidence in their offense as a play caller, it seems like.
Which was, and I will say this, QB runs in the red zone are extremely effective. Now, can you count on them all the time? No, probably not, unless you're just going to go.
It should have been stuffed.
Unless you can go Jalen Hurts tush push, brotherly shove every play down the field, that you can pretty much count on that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's to be honest with you, I haven't watched enough of their specific red zone tape, but again, as everyone's been saying all year long, something just looks off with them offensively. And, they lost Steichen, who was obviously was really good for Jalen Hurts' development as a quarterback. And I don't know that we haven't seen quite the same level of dominance from their offense. And, I think that sometimes happens when you pay a quarterback a lot of money. The rest of the offense can't be as good.
I will say these are the two stats that flashed to me. Hurts had 45 pass attempts. That's never good for that offense.
No.
And that was a result of, outside of Hurts rushing, Swift and Gainwell had 12 carries for 31 yards. So there was no running game.
Well, that's true. And that is they should be able to run the ball better than that. Now the Jets front is outstanding.
Yeah.
But yes, I totally agree. They ought to be able to run the ball.
And those work together, right? When you can't run the ball, you're going to go to pass. And that's not where the Eagles.
That's not where they thrive, even though they do have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on the Eagles. I've never been that bullish on them and Jalen Hurts, but they kind of proved me wrong last year.
Stick to your guns, bro.
Yeah.
I've been bullish. I thought, we'll see. I agree. We'll have to go wait and see there. The one thing that you can be bullish on is the Dolphins offense.
Yeah, talk about that.
Incredible. Like I said, we've talked about Mike McDaniel a ton, how good he is as a play caller. Now, granted, we're talking about Tyreek Hill, who is uncoverable. I don't know. I keep seeing people try and play single high man, and then the corner will try and press him. And I don't understand why you would ever do that.
You can't.
Ever.
I was talking.
Hands on
huge Panthers fan because the Dolphins dominated the Panthers last week, so I watched the whole game.
Panthers were up early,
14-0. Quick.
Hey, can you? I just want to say this. Luke said patience. You need to be more patient.
We'll get into the Panthers, but focusing on the Dolphins. We were talking about Thielen's been doing well, and he's good on these crossing routes and getting open, savvy bet. I'm like, yeah, then you have Tyreek Hill who can just run a crossing route and have no wiggle, and you just can't guard him because he's so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Vertical, and then just run a stop route, can't guard it. Vertical, can't guard it. It's like a cheat code.
Someone's going to have to do a little more. I mean, I know that the Patriots, who are obviously abysmal, but they did a nice job against the Bills did a good job against them, and the Patriots did a good job against their offense. And I'm curious if anyone will try and recreate that sort of game plan.
What did the Bills do? Because I watched the Pats game, and it was
they scored 50.
What? Oh,
they scored 50
on offense. Yeah. But the Pats on defense, they had the rookie corner Shadow Cheetah.
But I'm sure there's no way that you can't guard him one-on-one. So I'm sure that he had safety help most of the time. It's hard watching the TV copy because you don't get to see the full picture. But he might have been with him just to try and be physical with him at the line of scrimmage because that Gonzalez kid is bigger and he's obviously very athletic. But there was never gonna be a play. The Patriots do a really good job of that. Bill's always done a really good job of that. Like, we will be taking your what you do best will not be us.
Yep. You got to figure out a different way.
Yeah. Now, what they do worst is protect the ball. And that's been, obviously, they keep shooting themselves in the foot. And, it's just.
To start the game, Panthers got the ball, hurry up, went and scored a touchdown, 7-0. Dolphins get the ball, 3rd and inches. And McDaniel calls a fake QB sneak, like backward swing pass to Mostert, and Tua threw it 3 yards over his head. Could have been like another, we'll call it a fumble 6. The guy, like the running back, got it, and they ended up punting 3 and out. But it's like I feel like they do dumb stuff like that, where just do a QB sneak or a run and just get the first down.
Trying to get too cute a little bit.
Yeah. I think that'll backfire at the worst possible time for them.
It could. But like I said, you do not see guys, or I think I was getting here and then I got sidetracked talking about how good Tyreek Hill is, but you do not see guys in the NFL that wide open like you do watching the 49ers and the Dolphins. And yes, they have great players. Obviously, Tyreek is uncoverable, but those two guys' play calling is top notch.
Yeah, it sets them up for success.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, prediction. What you got? Let's see if he does it again.
I'm gonna say
this is at Philly, by the way.
I know. But I'm gonna say the Dolphins win this game 31-27. And I bet that's a little high. I bet that's a little higher than the total.
Total's 51.5. So you're like a touchdown over.
Yeah.
31-27 Miami.
I think the Dolphins win this game 31-27. Yeah.
All right. I think Philly wins.
Is this do you actually think that, or is this like a first take, like I already chose this side, so you got to go the other way?
No. I mean, Philly's favored. Why is that such a hot take?
I'm just saying, because you have this like shit-eating grin on your face. Like, I love disagreeing with people so much.
So the chalk play would be 27-24 Philly. I'm going Philly 20, Miami 6.
That's
the headline next week's going to be Miami Mike McDaniel on the
Some
hot seat.
people still know how business is done.
Dolphins offense not as good as everyone thought.
That's a Michael Scott headline.
It's not even. I'm basically just bold predictioning this because it's so bad that you can't even say it's a freezing cold take. But if it's right, then I'll look like a genius, and we'll just cut this whole part out.
Real quickly. Sure. Yeah, we can cut this whole thing out after we've released it. Good idea.
No, just the part of me saying like it's just a bold prediction. I'll cut that part out, and I'll stick with my prediction being like serious, if that makes sense.
All right.
26.
Whatever you say.
Philly.
Real quick, let's talk
Panthers?
NFL's top. No, I don't. Well, you can talk about the Panthers for a minute if you want. Talk to me about the Panthers.
Oh, we skipped over the rule update too. Panthers 0-6 on a bye.
Good time for it. Reset.
Reich, what I've always talked about is I haven't been a big fan of the play calling offense. It's been kind of blah, obviously. He's handing over the play calling at the bye to Brown, the OC that came from LA, McVay tree.
Okay.
Like McDaniel. So maybe we'll start seeing some of that new scheme that's dominating NFL offenses. I'll be interested to see what changes. Will it be a complete change, or will it be kind of like a slow change?
I will say this: it would be a disservice to Bryce if they totally overhauled everything they've been doing for the first 3 months of his NFL career.
Yeah. Now I will say,
if they're smart, they need to slowly integrate what this Brown fellow wants to do.
Which should be everything they've done to date has been shotgun, run game, play action, pass.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see the Brown offense or McVay, Shanahan, McDaniel, whatever you want to call it, is under center, right?
That's the idea. Under center, I mean, wide zone. That's kind of the basis of it. Bootlegs, a lot of bootlegs. I think that'd be nice for Bryce to get some bootleg action, get him out of the pocket a little bit with a clean edge, and let him go make plays. That he seemed really comfortable when he gets out of the pocket.
That's what he did well at Alabama.
Yeah.
So,
top 5 teams in the league. Go.
From one starting.
Do it however you want. Do it however you want.
I need to think about it for a second.
I'll go.
All right, you go first.
Chiefs are 1.
Start with 1.
Niners are 1. Chiefs are 2. Well,
hey,
what is going on? Happy birthday to me now.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is there a buzzword that makes it pop up? We'll have to watch the tape.
Check the tape. Ice up, son.
Smitty. We could talk about that too.
Actually, I'm flip-flopping. Chiefs are 1. They have the advantage at quarterback. And they have a much improved defense, and I'm not worried about their offense like everyone else is. They'll be fine. Niners are 2.
Okay.
Bills are 3. Eagles are 4. Lions are 5. Dolphins are 6.
Sorry, I'm pulling up standings.
Ravens are 7. But
you still might be fine. Just do all 32. Just keep going.
My power rankings.
All right.
I can't.
You started at 1?
Mm-hmm.
Injuries ruin this, but I still am going to stick with them. Bills are my 1.
Their defense, it's just going to be can they got defense?
So many losing Milano and stuff is bad. He's such a good player, but they're going to
their offense the past 2 weeks has been something's not right with their offense the past 2 weeks either.
I know they're very inconsistent, but I'm hoping they get it together at the right time.
Right, because they played in London 2 weeks ago, right?
Correct.
Last week they should have lost the game against the Giants. I think the week before was the Dolphins.
Was it the Jags they lost to in London?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they barely beat the Giants. They only scored 14 points.
Yeah.
When's it win though?
They had 0 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So
now I'm putting Bills 1 because I think they're well coached and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
That's it. Niners are my 2 and I'm only putting them. I think they're the best team.
You just
overall.
copied Luke. Luke said Bills Niners as the Super Bowl, so you just copied him. That's what happened there.
I mean, nothing about what I say is like Luke. He thinks the Panthers are one of the best run organizations in the NFL, and it's atrocious take. All right, Bills 1, Niners 2. Here's a bold one. I like the Jaguars. 3.
I don't know what some of the things you say sometimes.
Jaguars are my 3. All right. My 4 is Detroit.
The Lions are better than the Jaguars.
That's your opinion.
Who's 5?
5 is Miami.
So the Chiefs are not in your top 5 teams.
No. I don't think they're that good. I think the Taylor Swift curse is serious.
All right. That I can get behind. I can get behind that take. Sort of.
And part of it is I scrolled over them going through that list.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll put them at 6. I do think they're a little over it. I don't think they're the best. You put them at 1. I don't think they're the best team in the league.
They have the best quarterback.
How about this? I think there's a lot of parity. They do have the best quarterback.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. I think that's it. Right?
Last thing.
45 minutes almost until he gets going on another tangent.
Yeah, 1 second.
Tell me.
Rule update of the week.
We'll cut that out. Your 30-second pause.
There is no update because they were on bye. So 3-3, hosting Northwestern.
Good time for a bye.
Yeah. I mean, they could get to a winning record. And Glanch's take of best coach in college football history.
Ever.
Football history, including his NFL stint.
Yep. Bar none. Ever.
Okay.
Could be proven correct.
Hey, let's throw another prediction out there. Nebraska 3-3, hosting Northwestern 3-3.
I bet Nebraska is favored by 4 points. I did not look at the spread. Is Northwestern favored? Nebraska's favored by a touchdown. That was my initial thought.
Just give me your score, then I'll tell you.
All right. It's Nebraska 24, Northwestern 17.
Wow. Nailed the total.
41.
Total is 41. Nebraska's 11.5 point favorite.
Wow.
So I guess they're saying 26 to 15 ish.
Sure.
Is that not right?
Yeah.
That's right.
But those are 2 very difficult scores to acquire, accumulate.
I'll go chalk. No, I got Northwestern. Or Northwestern wins handedly 30 to 11.
24-13 would be oh wait, that's less points, huh? Never mind. I lied.
What'd I say? 30 to 31? 31-10?
Who's winning the game?
Northwestern.
Oh, okay. As 11-point underdogs, yeah. And you're not a troll. Sure.
Is that it? We got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Tiger Woods is back soon-ish, later this year.
We think there's an unnamed spot there for the Hero World Challenge. It's got to be him, right?
He's in.
Is he going to get an exemption to ride a cart? That'd be awesome.
Can he put Charlie in it?
That would be awesome.
How old is Charlie now?
No clue. 8th grade?
14?
Sounds about right.
Ish?
Yeah.
God, I can't wait till.
Speaking of Tiger, Pop Stroke coming soon to the DFW area. I'm fired up.
Where's it going to be?
Frisco, about 20 minutes south of us.
Will it be like near the Star and
pretty close to the Star? Not in the Star, but pretty close to it.
Is that where the PGA Frisco is?
No, south of that too. PGA Frisco is basically up into Prosper almost. It's like very northern part of Frisco.
I remember passing it.
Yeah.
On the way to your crib from Fort Worth, I think.
Yeah, we did.
All right.
Okay. Take us away.
That's it. Thanks for listening.
See us out.
Yeah. We'll check in on our bold and takeys next week.
See if we're not too fake busy. Thanks for listening.
Good luck at your member guest. Maybe next year I'll get the invite.
Maybe.
Baby.